Hey guys, welcome to my video today. Today we're painting peonies again, the Day Star. This is from the book Peonies by Allan Rogers. I've been working from this book. We're gonna do a kind of a version of this that's really, I'm taking liberties. Taking liberties. I'm gonna walk you through my entire process and I'm gonna share all the materials with you and tell you what I'm doing step by step. So if you are ready, let's go. This is the paper that I'm using today. This is the ClaireFontaine black mixed media paper. PaintOn is the line. They have a few different colors. I have the black and the natural, and that's what I've been using lately to do art on. I like it. It's really heavy. It takes water and it doesn't buckle too much. These are all the paints that I'm using today. Everything will be in the description box. I'm also using Derivan liquid pencil. It's the yellow color and it's Rewettable. That's the version. And then for my whites, I'm using a mixture of Golden's Fluid Acrylic, Titanium White, DecoArt Americana, Light Buttermilk, and Americana Natural Buff. I mix these and I put them in here. Sometimes it's a mix of this and this. Sometimes it's a mix of this and this. Just depends on what I'm using it that day and what's left over in the jar. And then for highlights, I like to go back in with white. But those are the whites. I'm using these 5 brushes. 1-inch wash, Royal and Line Nickel, the Princeton Select Oval Mop, 1/2 inch, the Princeton Select Oval Mop, 1/4 inch, Simply Simmons 1/2 inch wash, and a liner. Dalarani Graduate 10/0 size liner. So we're going to prepare the surface, starting out with a liquid pencil. This is just something that I think adds that little extra something, and it gives a lot more texture, depth, and luminosity to whatever I'm going to put on top of it. I just love using this in so many different ways. When I first got the liquid pencil, I tried to use it to draw with. And I needed to play around with it a lot to find out how it would best serve me. And for a while, I didn't use it at all because I didn't really get it. I'll put a video up in the little eye where you can see my first impressions when I first purchased this product and started using it. I needed to play around with it to really get a good grip on how to use it. And I held on to it for a long time and didn't use it. I recently started really mixing it with paints, and I've really started using it all the time and using it for what I'm doing right now. As you can see, I painted it. I did a layer of it on my paper, and now I'm blow drying it. And you'll see, I'm going to hold the paper up so you can see the sort of silver-like texture that and color that it leaves behind once it's dry. It's matte when it's dry, but it's gonna affect what I put on top of it. So if you see how it has sort of a silvery quality, but it's not metallic though. It's an interesting product and I'm really enjoying it, obviously. Just getting some paint on my palette, and I'm starting off with a material that I forgot to put in our material list. This will be in the description box below. It's a Caran Neocolor 2 crayon, and I just sort of drew a little outline for myself of the composition that I wanted to do. You saw the image in the beginning of the video. I'm just painting some of this sort of minty green color, sort of a cross between mint and lime. And I'm just painting an oval, like a cameo type of a shape. The Neocolor 2 is just gonna wash away. You won't really be able to see it anymore after I do a lot more work on top, but it's a good little guide for me, and it also, you know, can add some additional texture, and it's water soluble, so it just sort of washes in with everything else. I took an old Beauty Blender makeup sponge that I had. I pull it out every now and then. I see how it works, if I can use it for anything here. So, in the end, not really crazy about what I'm getting out of it. It's not really adding any texture, but as you can see, this could be cool for another project to do like a really seamless blending, because you see it's blending really nicely, but that's not really the look I'm going for. So I'm just fooling around with it, and then I'm gonna put it down and not pick it up again. But the Beauty Blender could be really good for doing stencils. That would be a really good use for it. You'll see, like when I'm painting on top of this more, the cool texture that I'm getting from having done a base of the liquid pencil. The underpainting adds a lot of depth and texture to whatever you put on top of it. Just going to blow dry again to make sure everything's nice and dry before I go on to the next step. So this is the Liquitex Basics paint. It's the matte version. I use this and another black interchangeably. So there's another black, DecoArt Black Gesso, and I couldn't find that, so I'm using this. They're basically very, very similar, and they both give a really, really matte finished product. So I'm just adding a little bit of water to get it to the right consistency. I did this technique in a different video where I paint over a background and then I paint on top of it. So it gives it like a cool glow. So I'm laying down this base black matte paint, and then I'm going to paint over it. This gives some dimension, some more dimension I should say, to the art that I'm going to paint on top of it when everything's over that background. The black matte paint is going to give a nice frame to the flowers. Today it's kind of more of a messy, chunky black matte paint. In another video I did a more clean edge on my silhouettes. I'm playing around with it and trying different things, just trying to see the different ways that you can do this technique. So I'm sort of eyeballing what I'm going to do for my design. You see it's really not precise at all. This one was really funny because I didn't I didn't draw any guiding lines or anything for my flowers or the stems or for any of that art. I just sort of went right in with it, just trying to figure out what brushes I want to use and what I'm doing. I'm just doing some dry brush black matte paint on the edges just to give sort of a shadow effect to the edges. And I really like this effect. I'm starting in with my white, and I just wanted to add a little bit more of this titanium white to my mixture. It looks like I have a lot of that natural buff in there, which is kind of a cooler neutral. The light buttermilk is a little bit of a warmer neutral, and the natural buff is a little bit of a cooler neutral. So I was kind of looking for a little bit of a warmer neutral today, but I just went with what I had, and I just added some more of the plain white to it just to chill out that cool neutral vibe a little bit. blow drying before the next layer. So I'm just getting my palette ready for some painting color. I'm doing the center of the flowers first, just so I know where the centers are going to be. So I'm getting my greens ready. So now I'm painting the leaves, and I wasn't really nuts about the way the greens were coming out. I'm mixing it here with a little bit of the orange just to make it a little bit more darker and more of a olive green vibe, because it was just looking a little too bright for what I wanted. I like to just continually mix my paint throughout, do different shades, little touches of color for different leaves and for different parts of the stem and stuff like that, because it just makes it so much more interesting. And in real life, you know, things are not just one flat color. It adds a lot of dimension to just change up the values and change up the tones where appropriate in, you know, the different parts of what you're doing, the flower, the leaves, and stuff like that. So I'm just going to start a new palette here with my white because I don't want to go back into that green one. The green just got a little messy. So as you can see, it's just all green now. It's all green with little touches of other colors. And I'm putting in this teal, which I actually didn't even end up using, but I love that color. So remember when I said I was taking liberties with this one? I probably take liberties all the time, right? But you'll see in this one, I'm doing some partial transparency with the paint around the edge so that it has a really fairy wing-like feel to it. Very soft to give the petals some transparency and luminosity over the dark background. So I just continue doing that and playing around with it. And down on the little ones. And I'm really into it. So I just keep doing more and more. A little bit on the leaves too and on the stem just to bring everything together. So now I'm writing my word, and I decided on the word quiet because I feel like this painting is very soothing and quiet and soft and minimal. That's just how it made me feel. So I'm just painting in the letters. I'm going very soft and organic with the letters to match the rest of the painting and to match the mood of the painting, because that's just the mood that I'm in and that this painting is in. So, and I just don't want to get too fussy with the details, even though I'm doing lettering, and lettering can tend to be more detailed than other parts of your artwork, but that's the way I'm going with this one. I still managed to get in a few details a little bit later, you'll see. I really decided that I just wanted to go for a soft look on this, and I didn't want to get too detailed, but it's looking a little bit bare right above those two bottom flowers. So I need to do something to tie in the words. At this point, I'm considering the details and how I'm going to tie everything in together. I didn't want to put the words lower because I had already put the leaf on the left, and that would have made things look unbalanced, but I also just wanted to do one word. So I wasn't working with a 3-word phrase or anything that would fill the entire space. So I'm just adding some additional black around the petals and leaves just to make them pop on the inside. And then I'm going to go into that space just right in the center of the painting, right above the two bottom flowers. And I'm going to start to do some detail there and detail all around the rest of the painting. I grabbed my black paint because I'm sort of working backwards, whereas I'm not drawing in the details first. I'm just painting in the background of the details I'm going to draw on top. Going in with the white again to just draw some little details. I'm focused on space. I don't like to have blank spaces in my paintings that are a dead spot. I don't like dead spots. So if there's like an empty area, then it's hopefully serving a purpose. That's what I strive for anyway. So, but I also didn't want to really overwhelm this with detail. You know, the word is quiet, and it is very ethereal and a quiet painting. So even though I'm putting details all around it and inside of it, I'm trying to hold back a little bit and not do too much. But that is a little difficult for me. So, and I felt like I could use a little bit of pop. I grabbed the quinacridone orange and mixed it a little bit with the other red paint that I have on my palette, because the other one, the Americana one, has a little bit more density and a little bit more opacity than the quinacridone one. Doesn't have opacity, it's transparent. I had this idea. I felt like the two baby top flowers were really fading into the two larger flowers, and I wanted to add some differentiation so you could tell that they were different flowers. I'm using this line method. Spoiler, I actually do paint over these. At the end of this painting, they're not super visible, they're just visible underneath other layers of paint. But I did keep them on the leaves. I didn't completely paint over those. Just added some details to the rest of it to tie everything in. And I really do like this burnt orange rust color. If I was gonna add a color to pop or to make a darker detail, I do like it. I think that if I used a darker green for this, I just wouldn't feel like I was getting enough out of it, if you know what I mean. It was just gonna be a little bit too soft for me. It's a challenge for me to not put in something to make it pop or something, some sort of complementary color like this orangish rust color is with the rest of it, with the greens and the whites and the yellows. So then I wanted to add some shadow feel underneath the blossoms. So I mixed up this chartreusey color and I used that. And I really like the glow that I get from that. Adding the chartreuse, did the final tie-in of all of the elements together, and I used it on the bottom flowers and also on the top ones. And it also did a nice job of covering the orange lines on the flower just enough so that it still felt soft, like those lines weren't too harsh. I did keep some of those burnt orange details visible in the stamen and in the leaves. And they're a little bit visible in the petals, but not so much. They're mostly covered up. I just love to layer and layer and layer, and that's what painting is all about. Actually, painting is about whatever you want it to be about. For me, I really enjoy doing translucent layers, so it's a lot of fun. Finishing touches on this painting, I'm just adding the lightest lights right now with just a pure, unadulterated titanium white paint on the petals, and then I think I'm calling this one done. If any of my paintings speak to you or would be perfect for a friend, I do sell giclée prints of my paintings. You can find out the details in the description. So I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you liked it, please do hit that thumbs up. And if you enjoy this content, please do subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Have an awesome day and have an awesome holiday. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye.